We're going
Hey.
to start with Andrew Greif. Andrew, go ahead.
Hey Landry, these are such unusual circumstances that I've seen a lot of players today discussing about the mental challenge, and Doc talked about that of playing potentially 3 months in an isolated area. Considering this has never really been done before, how have you gone about preparing for what it would be like to be out there for such a long stretch?
I think the biggest thing is just coming to terms with like the reality of it. Like it is what it is. I can't do anything to change that. It's not in my control. Obviously the only choice I would have is to not go, and I don't want to do that. I want to go play. So it's just a matter of just coming to terms with that's what's going on, and just going down there with the right mindset of like, okay, this is a boot camp. Um, and just go and make the best of it. Be locked in, be in the right headspace, and just go make the best of it. I think that's the best way to approach it.
Thank you, Andrew. Next question comes from Cameron. Cameron, you there?
I'm here. I'm here. Hey, Landry, thanks for taking time to talk to us.
Yeah, no
Got a
problem.
couple questions for you. What can you take away from the regular season and apply it to this restart? I know it's an odd situation, but what can you take away from the regular season? And then how have you guys maintained chemistry as a team? Like at the end of before things shut down in March, you guys were kind of coming together and played a bunch of games finally as a complete team. But how do you guys maintain that chemistry through this quarantine or shutdown?
So the first question was about what we take away from the regular season into the restart. So that would be, just we've had a lot of time just to sit and kind of think. And I know me personally, I've just thought a lot about, okay, what did I like that I was doing? What did I not like? What can I do better? What can I utilize more? A few stretches of games where I felt really good, and a couple stretches where it was not so much. So I think we've just had time to really think and break down our own games, watch film of other people. That's what I've been doing, trying to watch teams in the past, who have had championship expectations, and try to see where I fit in those teams and how those guys were utilized and what they did to be effective. But the biggest thing, you just have a lot of downtime to watch film, study yourself, study each other, and try to take the pieces that you want to bring with you to the restart. And then the second question with our chemistry, we've been great. We text all the time in our group chat, always talking, very open. It's nothing's really changed there. If anything, it's increased more. We've talked more, more active in our group chat, group text, Zoom calls, group FaceTimes, whatever it is. It's been great. We've stayed in touch.
Thanks, Cameron. Landry, next question comes from Beth Harris.
Hey, Landry, how you doing?
Not too bad.
What's your level of concern about traveling to Florida at a time and in an area where the number of virus cases are rising?
Obviously it's something to think about, something that you see and I've acknowledged. But I think, if there's a scenario where you'd feel more comfortable, it'd be being in a bubble that's, as controlled as any environment can be. So I think that's one positive that I've been thinking about. Obviously, risk is, Adam Silver said it the other day, there's risk, there's no option with no risk at this point. You could go and get gas today, down the street. So, I don't know. I kind of it's obviously a concern, but, I think we're in the best possible situation and scenario to combat that.
Thanks, Beth. Miriam.
Hey, Landy, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah, so you sort of talked about the concerns and sort of the perspective on COVID in Florida, but do you have any concerns, or did you have any thoughts about what it kind of feels, what it means to play basketball now in this sort of this important time in America socially, and kind of either whether you have any pause about playing or whether you see it as an opportunity to kind of encourage education and acknowledgement?
Yeah. obviously that's been a hot topic, definitely something we've talked about, and I think it's interesting because there's multiple perspectives, and everyone has their own pros and cons with them. I think me personally, I think the more cameras we have on us, the more opportunity we have to get our messages out and say what we feel like we want to say, what we need to say, what can help. So I think it's a positive that we'll be kind of a focal point in a way and be able to still control the narrative a little bit and talk about what we want to talk about in regards to what's going on socially in America right now, and still be able to influence and affect hopeful change. So that's kind of my perspective on it.
Thanks, Miriam. Next question is from Dan Wilkie.
Hey, Landry. I'm curious, in talking about players and speaking up against racism and police brutality and things like that. You entered a league that was kind of already pretty active in speaking out. I'm curious if there were any moments that really stick with you, whether it's the Miami Heat Trayvon Martin post or the SB speech. Are there any moments that really kind of let you know that in this league you can say what you want to say and not fear ramifications necessarily for it professionally?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one that comes to mind is obviously the SB speech, however long ago that was, with LeBron and Melo and Dwayne Wade and all those guys standing on stage talking. But it's kind of known. It's very well known. I feel like that we're seen as the league that has the best rapport with our owners and people in the league office, and they allow us to kind of be us, be ourselves, and empower us to talk about the things we want to talk about and be active in the community. So that's something that's known. I don't think there was anything that really needed to happen to be, for me, at least in my time in the league, for me to fully realize it. I think it's been known, and that's something that the league's done a really good job of.
Thanks, Dan. Next, we're going to go to Farbad.
Hey, Landry. Paul George had mentioned this time off was great for his shoulders, and he was able to fully rehab. You had your own injuries at the start of the season. Has this time off kind of helped you with any of that?
I mean, that wasn't really anything on my mind. I felt pretty good once I came back and was playing. Felt like I kind of hit my stride there once we kind of shut down. But I took it for what it was worth. I mean, you don't get that much time off that often. So the first couple weeks of this whole quarantine, I really kind of, made it a point to enjoy the time off. And just take it for what it was. And, you got to take advantage of moments like that where you get to rest a little bit.
All right, Farbad. Next, we're going to go to Jovan.
Hey, Landry. Two-part question for you. As a shooter, obviously you rely a lot on rhythm. So were you able to access a hoop at all? I know only a few guys were able to. And if not, how do you feel about, I know you guys have been able to practice or get an individual workout the last couple of weeks, but how has that kind of been, having all this time off as a shooter and someone who relies a lot on rhythm and reps and practicing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a weird time for everybody. But that real rhythm will come from, this next month in Orlando when we get rolling a little bit with practices and whatnot. And then even the last month or so since we've had the facility open has really, been able to ramp things up, and I've started to, try to relocate that game rhythm. So it's not a huge concern of mine. You're exactly right. Shooting is a ton about rhythm and feel, and it's just a matter of time, before I find it and I'm immersed in it.
Thanks, Jovan. Next, we'll go to Tomer.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
sir. Sure can.
Landry, hope you're doing well. This is a two-parter here for you. First of all, as a competitor, where do you stand on the whole, asterisk talk for the championship? Because these are unprecedented times, and anything could happen in Orlando. And then the second part is how important is mental toughness going to be in this? Because, there's no crowd here, so I guess, as a rhythm shooter, you miss a couple of shots, trash talk might be flying your way, and you can't sort of tune that out completely maybe. How important is mental toughness in this return?
I don't think. I mean, yeah, mental toughness is everything, regardless of if there's, fans or not. I mean, some of the most competitive basketball I've played has just been, pick up, just show up to a gym, pick up, everybody's talking to each other. There's environments like that that still foster really, really competitive, play. And this is the NBA, so it's the best athletes in the world playing against each other. And just because there's not going to be a few fans, there's no reason to believe that it's not going to be competitive basketball. So, it'll still be competitive. It'll still be a lot of fun. And yeah, mental toughness is always huge and key in any sport, any high level sport. So it'll be just as key and important.
Landry, next question is from Kurt.
Thanks, Chris. Landry, kind of a follow-up to that. Doc was talking about how instead of an asterisk, whoever wins this should get a gold star because of the challenge of being in that bubble for potentially 100 days. For you specifically, when being away from family and routine and in that bubble, what do you see as the greatest challenge emotionally, mentally in that time on the assumption you guys can get to the NBA Finals?
I think the biggest thing is going to be finding things to do to keep your mind occupied. You're going to be in the same environment. We're not traveling. We're going to have the same hotel rooms, same scenery for a long time. And I think it's going to be important to find. I've even debated. I talked to Doc today about I might get some golf clubs and hit him up, see if we can, he can give me some lessons or something so I could figure my golf swing out. Or I don't know, like just pick up new hobbies. I want to read more while I'm down there. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, obviously I'm going to miss my people. I just got a puppy. I'm going to miss my dog. Like I'm not going to get to see him for 3 months. My girlfriend, my mom, my family who I would, normally be able to spend, my off season with. So it's going to be tough for sure. But again, I go back to what I said at the start of all of this. It's just acknowledging that, like that's the reality of it. That's what it is. So just accepting that and making the best of the next 3.5, 4 months.
Thanks, Kurt. Next question is from Corey Maggette.
Hey, Landry, how are you doing?
What's up, Corey?
One question. I know you're such a great student of the game, and as far as from a film perspective, what have you done during this time to watch film to see where you can actually maximize the amount of space moving to different areas on the court, as well as utilizing, your other players in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to find those specific spots where you can be more effective going into Orlando?
Yeah, I've had some conversations with a couple teammates. Me and Lou have been talking a lot this week about me and Pat, about just how to pick spots. And that's one thing that's been obviously with a new team and a group of guys as good as we are, everybody has this conception that it just gets easy, but it's not the case. It gets harder, really. So trying to pick my spots of where I want to try to, get more involved, get active in triggering an action. That doesn't mean I got to get the ball and get a shot, but finding ways to move more. I've been watching a lot of Clay and Steph and those guys a few years ago when they were really really rolling, figuring out how, what they would do against the types of defenses that I'm starting to see, in order to how to be effective, how to get involved, not only just for them to score, but to trigger other actions for other guys. So I've been really diving into that, really thinking a lot, watching myself, watching other people, just trying to figure out what I can do to kind of take my game to the next level with this little break we've been on.
Thanks, Corey. Next is Mario. Mario?
Shamet.
Lose him.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get him back here. Mario, you there?
I'm here. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Landry, because the playoff seedings are unlikely to change in 8 games, do you feel that the team will ease into the new season or go full throttle from the start, considering you face the Lakers right off the bat?
I mean, we want to win games, put ourselves in the best situation possible. I don't think there's going to be any lack of urgency whatsoever. I mean, we only have 8 games to ramp up till the playoffs, so there's not going to be any sort of like the standings will change if we lose 8 games in a row. I can tell you that. So there's no easing into anything. The easing in part has been this month, and then this upcoming month of camp in Orlando before the games, and then once the games are here, hopefully we're in a spot where we can. There's no easing left to do. We can just get right into it.
Thanks, Mario. Next is Helene Elliott. Helene, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thanks. Hi, Landry. My question is whether, seeing everything that's happening in the world around us, and I'm wondering if you felt inclined to get involved in any kind of peaceful demonstrations or marches or otherwise push forward the cause of social justice.
Yeah. No, I haven't been to any protests or marches. I just for the sake of my just health with all this stuff coming up, I don't want to put me or anybody who's been in my house in a bad spot. So I'm kind of trying to still stay as socially distanced as I can. But I have been looking into a few organizations back home in Kansas City, doing my research, groundwork on, who I could potentially want to work with and moving forward and moving the bar in the right direction. So I've been more, kind of, tuned in that sense rather than, I haven't been out in the street, protesting and marching, but I've been, really thinking about what I can do and how I can make an impact and hopefully influence some change.
Thanks, Helene. Next question is from Martin.
Hi, Landry. Martin here. I have a question regarding the fact that we've seen soccer leagues in Europe coming back after 2-3 months, and there were quite a bit of injuries after not playing for 3-4 months. What do you think you can do to be prepared for the tournament like that?
What I've been doing, how I've been approaching is trying to replicate my workouts, whether it's on the court or in the weight room, replicate them as closely as possible to like actual in-game movements and the tempo at which I would be moving in a game. And there's been a gradual ramping up that we've gone with the last month and a half or so. But I mean, I feel like I'm in a good place. I've done a good job, done my due diligence. I've done everything I can to keep myself in good shape, keep my body in a good spot. So I feel like I'm in a good place.
Thanks, Martin. We have Miriam.
All right. Okay, so it's kind of a weird question, but playing in different arenas than you guys usually play in huge arenas in front of huge crowds, does it change a shooter's perspective? Can it help you as a shooter to kind of be in this place, or not really? It's just
No,
not
it doesn't.
not gonna play like that.
Gym's a gym. If it's 10 feet high, it's going in. Ball's the same. Yeah, nothing changes.
All right. Thank you, Miriam. And we have time for 2 more. Sabrina?
Hey, Landry. I'm just curious. There was a lot of talk about how some players felt like their voices weren't being heard in terms of like the voting to restart the season. I'm curious what that process was like with you on the Clippers with your player representative.
Like their voices weren't being heard?
Yeah, like they felt like they couldn't express their concerns about the league restarting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for other teams. I know with us, though, we have been very open with each other and encouraged one another to whatever concerns you have, let's get them out here on the table. Let's talk about them. What do we like? What do we not like? What do we like to try to change? I think us as a team, we've done everything very collectively. I can't speak for other teams. I don't know who you're referring to, but I don't think there'd be anybody, on our team who would. We've all been very open and communicated with each other, regarding all of this restart and in the bubble and everything, social justice, all of that. So.
Thanks, Landry. Second to last question from Helene. Go ahead, Helene.
I already asked my question, thanks.
Oh, no problem at all. Okay. And last one from Cameron.
Hey, thank you guys for taking the time with us again. Landry, I think we all know who handled the quarantine best on your team. Which one of your teammates would you say didn't handle it so well?
Who do you think handled it the best?
Well, I think Kawhi probably handled it best. I think you said as much. But who on your team would you say didn't handle it so well?
I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I would say that anybody you think handled it really well probably went through a period where they didn't handle it very well. I know I didn't. I feel like I'm in a really good spot, handled it really well, but there was probably a month stretch there, almost a month, where it was just really kind of draining. Your energy was zapped or whatever. So I think everybody went through their phase. I don't think anybody was perfect, but I think you'd be surprised if you saw the real picture of a lot of people in their quarantines, for sure.